Hello.
Skelly, Polo, get up here.
I'm just going to wait for Stat to pop in.
Hi.
Oh yeah, Frumple TV is live. I need to share the link. One sec. Dang it.
Mm.
All right, folks. Okay, so you may notice that the public portion is starting now because the private portion is not happening at this GSM. We're supposed to be voting on Mountbatten for Premier. Unfortunately, we only have 6 staff here right now. We need 7 to vote. I do have some absentee ballots, but unfortunately, some of them did not have time to vote on Mountbatten. So we can go ahead with the community issues, but we cannot vote for Mountbatten. Mountbatten will be deferred to the next GSM in April. So apologies to Moj for that delay, but I don't know. It's kind of exam season right now, so that's the way how things be. Okay, let's do the wheel. Let's choose where the heck we're gonna do this GSM. Let me see here. That's not it. Nope. There we go. And let's spin the wheel. Oh, do I need to stream here? Hold on.
Late Chatter said to turn on Scriptly.
Oh,
before section 5.
Yeah, let me go do that too. Transcribe. Oh. Okay, Scriptly's not responding.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, the Discord bots are like that. I don't know how to fix that right now. Oh, Foot just woke up. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna spin the wheel. Let's see where we're gonna do this GSM. So the location's been chosen is Sieno, Sheep's Hollow Hill. Does anyone know where the heck that is? Because I don't. Near ATC. If someone in the server or staff member could go there and then allow us to teleport there, that would be great. Because I don't know.
I feel like this wheel should have just the actual coordinates on.
Real.
It could. That would probably make the text unreadable, but I guess. Okay. Can we at least get to Sienos, maybe? Let's see. Oops.
Oh, okay, it's just to the northwest of ATC.
I accidentally closed my Minecraft. Good job.
I'm there now. I can't see. I don't know where this is specifically.
I guess it could be any of these hills.
Took too long to get in here.
Hi, Foot.
Long,
So Foot, because you weren't, well, no, I don't want to put the blame on you, but
long
we're
game
skipping
right now.
we're skipping the private portion because we didn't have enough quorum. I don't know, maybe we can go back to it, but we're gonna go just do the public portion now. APG, have you found where the hill is? I don't know.
It's most likely here.
Okay. I mean, it's a hill.
It is. Yes, it is indeed an hill.
Okay. Alright, so this will be the location for people to fuck around. Again, please don't go overboard, and be sure to respect the town itself, because it needs to be cleaned up after, and that's always fun to do. Okay, so let's get started with the community issues here. We got a few of them. DNA has minutes. DNA, could you also fill out on the minutes? There's a section for attendance and absentees. The absentee ballots I received are 70 and Missa. Skelly is here, though he has to go later. But you can put him in as an attendant.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to 5A, train carts attachments. I tried to go as detailed as possible. Nobody best friend MBF did ask for a few more permissions regarding model commands. I added those to beta server just a few days ago. I don't know, any comments about this? Any general feelings about attachments? Have you tried to demo? All that sort of stuff.
I've been playing about with it on beta just to see kind of what the attachments plugin is like to use. Like I said, like you've put in minutes, it's got a very, very steep learning curve, but it's possible to achieve quite a lot with it. Yeah, it's server side lag. I don't think there's significant impact on that.
One of the things that I don't know how to resolve it is I think I saw Fred, who was like a big proponent of train carts, wasn't a fan of attachments, and I think part of it was the client side lag that he was experiencing on his end, and only his end, because it seems like I don't know about the rest of you, but there is client side lag if you have a lot of trains in like one spot. We've actually tried rigorously testing that, but for Fred it seems like just one train, it sort of stutters just for him. Like if you look in beta server testing, there's a bunch of videos showing like what he sees and what I see on beta. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It seems maybe some sort of misconfiguration on Fred's end, because it's a little weird. Has anyone noticed any sort of client side lag like that? Like just like the attachments train stuttering, and it's just a single train.
I haven't, but
Okay.
I don't know what anyone else says.
I'm
The beta?
Yeah, on beta, yeah. This is not just a staff, but I'm posing this question to everyone here. So Pro says no, they haven't seen it. Barnes says I've sometimes seen it on other servers, but not here. Interesting. Yeah, again, Mount Batten has been deferred to next GSM. If there's time, we might go back to it, but I don't think we have enough people here, unfortunately. I've seen lag in much older versions of train carts. Okay, that's what MBF says. And with ridiculous amounts of other plugins at play. Yeah, we're generally we have a lot of plugins, but not compared to some other servers. I've seen like they have 50 or 100 plugins on there. It's kind of crazy. Okay. So in terms of lag, there's that. Does anyone have any other concerns about the attachments? Like the extremely high learning curve for the editor, I'm not sure if there's much that can be done about it. There's an,
Uh,
it's more of a documentation issue in some
they
ways.
they do have tutorials. I'm just going onto the beta server now if people want to kind of come over for a minute. But I don't know yeah, it's possible to achieve a lot with it. More so than just regular blocks. I guess it's kind of what that in itself could have the ability kind of to cause more lag than is necessary. But also I don't think it's that much of a concern.
MBF says, I'm planning on eventually making a tutorial / documentation thing in my town for train carts in general, including attachments. MBF, you may want to look at what Frozen and Athena put in the lab world spawn, because so they tried making a tutorial just for vanilla train carts. I think they're still working on it, last I heard. You may want to consider adding on to that. I would prefer that these sort of tutorials be in official places like Lab World Spawn, not in someone's town, because we do want it to be accessible by people that that want to use it or want to ask for it. Paul says, does anyone know if they're planning to create any more documentation in the future? I think it's more of a question to Frozen or anyone who's talked with Berger, the developer for train carts. Like he's made some improvements, like a few improvements to the wiki, but there's still a lot that's not documented. I find so. Yeah. Yeah, MBF. Still, even if I would prefer that it's in an official place, even not a town, like the lab world itself, like maybe not at spawn, but a section of the lab world would also work too, because we have a ton of space available there. It's better than putting it into the new world. Yeah. Okay. I should also say, MBF, you are the only person who really knows how to use the editor. I think you can probably guess people might start asking you for help a lot with this feature. I hope you're prepared for that because, again, it is a very high learning curve. AP is pretty good now. Would you just?
I have been testing a little bit. I have been getting a bit of practicing with it.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. Good to know. Foot says you can help as well. That's good. NSC I have some baseline knowledge. Okay, so if people are learning, that's good. Well, everyone calls them NSC. What are you talking about? Okay. Oh, and so there's that, and then the third main thing is, AP. You've tested the importing, right? I think I saw you a few days ago. Try that.
Yes. Well, I can't say I've tested it strenuously, but the importing did seem to work.
Okay.
That was just a few models that MBF had to import.
Okay.
I think there is an option to create some kind of attachment from a world edit schematic, and I'm not quite 100% on that.
Okay. Perhaps it's something we could test on beta later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the main thing of this is if we import attachment, save trains specifically from other servers or other sources, there is a possibility that they may have flags that are not allowed on our server, but because of how importing works, it sort of bypasses those restrictions. For example, things like keep chunks loaded, that flag, or other flags. It's just a matter. This is why the importing of attachments is restricted to staff only, because I would like to ask staff to just, I guess, vet these attachments. Maybe test them on beta first before you bring them on main. Might be a good idea. Just to make sure that they're not going to, keep chunks loaded or do anything that might slow down the server. Does that make sense to everyone here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, to be sure, I'm probably just, if we allow it just to be worded out somewhere to make sure I remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we'd put that.
Like, just that general announcement.
General announcement. Sure. It'll be in the GSM results too. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't need, like, a message every time I join. Just
Yeah.
somewhere written other than just in here.
Sure. That's fair enough.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, let me just see. So, I should also double check something here. Yeah. So, just to be clear, if we approve this, we're going to be really all I'm doing. There's a bunch of other permissions, but really all I'm doing, the main one is I'm going to enable the editor for trustees and above. So people will be able to they can start using it. There'll be some other changes. These are all in beta as well. The max train link will be increased from 10 to 20. The invincible property can be set by trustees and above. This only controls if the owner can destroy their own carts. It's kind of a misnomer. Invincible trains can still be destroyed with destroy signs or the train destroy command or on restart too. So it's just only affects whether the owner can destroy their own carts. So those other changes are happening. MBF, I'd like to strongly encourage people to make their models on MRT or MRT beta so they don't actually rely on something that's not allowed on MRT. MBF, can you elaborate on that? Like, what specifically is not allowed? It's mainly to avoid punching accidentally or touching fires, projectiles, cactuses. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Okay. Any other comments about this? But yeah, just basically there's a whole bunch of changes coming. The enabling editor and some other train card stuff. Does anyone have any objection to it or any questions about it?
Fine.
Okay. If we have any issues with it, we could always just turn off the editor, but there might be some saved trains sticking around, so we'll have to figure out how to deal with that. Pro has a question. Go ahead, Pro. Ask your question. While you do that, I'll just read. 7D was in favor of it, given the poll results, and Missa says, I don't see too huge problems cropping up about TC attachments as long as staff are very aware of the pitfall vis-a-vis lag and the ability to fix that in extreme circumstances with the destroy all command, and they need to be careful about importing attachments. So pretty much all the stuff that we've gone over. Yeah, unfortunately, Dinty, we can't. Scriptly is not working right now, so I don't know if I want to spend time trying to fix it. Pro says, I would need to propose to change a 4K waved rail from warp to TC. Don't think so. No, because it's an existing rail line anyway. Yeah, I don't think so. Because the 4K,
I don't think so.
The 4K rule is mainly for new rail. So yeah, this wouldn't apply here. Okay. Any other questions? Yep. Pro, if it's already been if it's already been approved, then you're okay. You can just, if you want to, well, I don't know if it matters. If you propose it as a warp rail, does the person need to re-propose as train carts? I don't know.
I'd say probably not. The infrastructure's already in place.
It's very similar. Yeah.
I mean, unless there's other third-party usage of the line, then no.
I guess unless also I guess unless if because a lot of train carts lines, they tend to be not underground, because if you just keep it underground, it's kind of boring, to be honest. So if you're changing the elevation of the line significantly, you may want to pre-propose it, but otherwise, you should be okay. Yeah, okay, Paul has a good point. Like, make sure all the mayors also are aware that it's going to be train carts, not warp rail. So, yeah, you should do that, I think. Any other questions? Otherwise, it sounds like we're going to approve this. I know for a fact Simon is going to say no to this, but that's from more of a standpoint that he doesn't like train carts in general, or he doesn't approve. He doesn't really approve that it sort of breaks the vanilla functionality, vanilla theme of the server, but yeah. Okay, yeah, Pro, if you have already permission from everyone, I think you should be okay. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise 5A is gonna get approved here. No, MBF. MBF asks, where in the rules would it fall for using attachments for things other than rails?
What?
I don't understand that question.
Yeah, it's not something where, like, I've considered with attachments, local buses would be
Maybe
suitable
we should
for
come
it.
back to that later.
Yeah, I think MBF, I would suggest. I think it depends on how people use it, because for now, like obviously the obvious thing is trains. If people want to start asking about boats or even the planes I've seen suggested, maybe that should be a separate proposal for some proposal to figure out rules around that. Maybe.
I think local transit should be allowed to be TC regardless of whether it's actually a train. Like local buses being the attachments.
I think we should still leave that. I don't think we should decide anything with this one. I think we should just at least approve that the editor is going to be available and people can start playing around with it first, and then we can come back to as they say, it'd be like officially saying local is allowed, or we'll decide exactly how it's going to work. So I'd say let's wait to see how people use it, and then we can maybe have a better picture of how to, if there's going to be a need for a GSM proposal on how these non-train uses would work. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay. Okay, let's approve 5A. Approve, stamp. I'll make those changes later today. There's a lot of permissions to add.
Why are these doors closed?
Okay, next one is 5B. This is mine. Basically, I want to add a few more moderator criteria to. This will be shown on the ranks page, basically. It's just a few more points. Just I want staff and basically the community to just keep in mind when they're nominating moderators, or these are qualities to look for and qualities to avoid. Like yeah, the one I want to add is like one that where players that care about everyone's view before making a solution are also great candidates. Or actually, sorry, I should read what I should read the thing. Always, so the quality I want to add is I always tries to include and consider everyone's perspectives in an objective, unbiased manner. And the undesirable quality we don't want to see is has a tendency to lie or be dishonest. I put in some justification in the written portion of this proposal. Does anyone have any comments or questions about it?
Seems fine to me.
These are all sensible policies to look for.
Yeah. I kind of wish I had these earlier, but yeah. I mean, because the post, I'm based. All of these are actually based on that Reddit post, which is like from 12 years ago. So Skelly, here's something I want you to consider. I don't, without naming any specific situations, like I have kind of know situations where staff might not realize, or the community might not realize someone is lying or being dishonest, if that makes sense. Like, it's like someone who's being very charming or maybe is doing a good job of hiding that sort of dishonesty is the sort of thing I worry about. But at least putting explicitly here, at least I want to make sure that that's something that people are watching for. Because again, I think I'll be pretty frank. Like, I think some people don't realize these sort of aspects about a staff member. Some there might be some people who might think that, you know, if someone is being dishonest, they might be okay with it, right? So it might seem like common sense, but in my experience, maybe not. Like, yeah. So yes, we aren't perfect at sussing that out, but I do know that the principle makes sense. Okay, that is kind of why I am making it explicit here. Pro says, I'm not fully sure what would be meant from omitting certain things. What do you mean by that, Pro? Oh, so let me be a bit explicit about this. So obviously, you don't have to say your whole backstory or your whole history or certain aspects. Like we don't want to know about your personal stuff or anything like that. I'm more talking about things that are important to share with the rest of the community. I'm trying to think of examples, but like I guess a good example is if, say, maybe a moderator candidate was maybe doing something not so great, or maybe got an argument with someone. I would prefer that person be upfront that and say that happened, and say that maybe things they learned from it or things how that situation got resolved, rather than just hiding it completely. Because you know, some people might just decide they're trying to go for moderator or even conductor even, and they just decide not to mention it at all, which is not a great thing to do, to be honest. Does that make sense, Pro?
Yeah, I think I get that.
Yeah.
So to be clear, is that arguments that you might have on the MRT with other MRT members or outside of the MRT?
Probably more. It's more relevant if it's between. Yeah. it has. I think MRT people. If you're having arguments of other places, that that's not really relevant because most people wouldn't know the other person or other community or whatever. So yeah, it has to be. It should be relevant to the MRT.
We don't want to know about the conflicts in your personal life.
Yeah, that's not. That's not. You, you should only share that if you really feel like it. But even then, sometimes it might not be appropriate for this community. So
I had a falling out with my old boss. That's why I shouldn't be a moderator.
that's.
Oh no.
No, that's not true.
I guess the main point is if you think that there might be something that like try to be genuine, like try if you think there's something that might like might cause concern for your candidacy as mod or candidacy as conductor, it's better to just be upfront about it. Just say, yeah, this happened, you know, like don't try to sweep it under the rug is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so is there any other comments? If this gets so assuming we approve this, I'll just add these to the ranks page, and they'll just be added to the list of all the other things that are on there. Any other comments, questions? Okay. 5B is approved. Oh. Go ahead, Polo. Paul is asking, so we're kind of on the side here, not really relevant, but what's your feeling of concerning the number of staff at the moment? I think that is relevant. Honestly, actually, the reason why I wanted to get this topic approved, because there's a lot of talk of people trying to consider, they're humming and they're thinking of nominating some people, but they haven't gone around to it. So I wanted to get this over with, so these criteria are there before they nominate. But in terms of the number of staff, yeah, we have staff, but they're not like the activity is not great, like high. As a lot of you noticed, like we demoted Dinty a while ago, and to be very clear there, I think about a year ago we actually talked to Dinty about, like, you know, you're not active, you know, are there ways you can bring it up? But then we kept monitoring his activity until this year, and it basically didn't improve. It hadn't really changed that much. So I think Simon talked to Dinty, and we pretty much agreed that, yeah, I think it's time to go there. So yeah, I would like to see more moderators nominated. I think I would like to see, I don't know, maybe this is kind of weird to say, a new generation of mods that it might be more active. Maybe they could be younger mods, maybe not necessarily gripped by the ravages of university or work, if that makes sense. Because, you know, because again, I always say IRL stuff always should take more priority than MRT, but if it turns out that people, like staff, aren't actually on to do things, it does cause some trouble for how the MRT works. Like, you know, city ranks votes gets delayed. You know, Moja's Mountbatten vote for this GSM is getting delayed here. So yeah, it would be nice to get more staff on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again,
Considering,
oh, go ahead. Maybe.
yeah, I'm saying considering in the past year we've had 2 moderators come onto the team, and that's not a lot.
And even then, like Zuge was added, but Zuge has been pretty busy himself, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, his addition hasn't added. Well, I don't want to undermine his contributions, but it would be nice to have someone quite active, or more people that are more active. Yeah, yeah. It's again, keep in mind also the reason we had a lot of moderated cants in the past, that was before we had conductor. So a lot of I think a good reason why people were really interested in becoming mod was from World Edit, to be really honest. Now that that's not a thing anymore, people can just apply for conductor. Moderator's a different beast now. It is a very different set of responsibilities. You don't have to do World Edit as much, but you do have to be good at, like moderating and, voting on city ranks and doing all that sort of stuff. So it's a very different job. And honestly, I don't think I think not everyone is suited for it. Not everyone wants to do it. It's not a, you don't get much rewards out of it, if that makes sense. So it's very much a volunteer thing. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, please start thinking about writing up some nominations if you have some people to think about. And I'm not just talking about Athena. I'm talking about other people too. Like, yeah.
I guess one of the things as well with the moderators, with the sort of thing where we require 2 nominations to consider somebody for moderator, I can't remember how many times it's happened in the past, but person A gets nominated by one person in the March GSM, person B gets nominated by a different person in the April GSM. They've got the 2 nominations, but just at different meetings.
We do have a spreadsheet of all the votes and nominations, AP. So maybe just look through there. I'm pretty certain that hasn't happened recently. Like, I think I know what you're talking about. Like, someone that does have 2 nominations, but they just happen to be at different meetings. I think in those cases, what we've usually done, if we've noticed that, I think we keep that nomination and forward it to the next. But I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened. You can double check it though if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, I'll have to do that at some point.
Yeah. To be honest, the last, like up to this year and last year, I think we just haven't had any nominations at all for people. Like it just hasn't.
I don't remember seeing any come in.
Yeah, there just haven't really been. If there are nominations, it's usually the 2 come at once, or it's like one, like the nomination made like work together by 2 people. I think that happened with DNA. That happened with Zuge. But I don't think I've seen much partial cases. Okay, can we move on? I think people got the general gist. Like, yeah, more mods, good, yes. Okay, 5C, repeal rail lines rule 7. This one might be a bit controversial because I've gotten a variety of opinions about this one. Basically, if people don't know what rule 7 is, I'll double check the website here. Where is it here? Okay, so if you look on the rules page under rail lines, rule 7 states warp rail train lines. Where players use sine warps to travel from one station to the next, must have a vehicle present at each station.
Oh.
And if you read 7D's document, he's proposing removing this rule because mainly He'd like to be able to make hybrid stations that can use warp, basically platforms on stations that can use both train carts and warp rail. But in order to do that, you need to remove the warp rail train from the platform and then also put the warp signs somewhere. That hasn't really been determined yet. So, yeah. What are people's thoughts on this? Because there's a lot here.
I think such a rail line exists already.
Ursville's metro uses a combination of warp and train carts, and it's a little bit jarring. Same goes with Times Red Train.
Okay, so we're in a situation where it's already been happening, even though there's no rule around it.
This is
Technically, it's a violating the rule, I guess.
there's this system that's been here for literally years.
I think I think the one through Ursula, there's one that goes south. I think it's heading for one of my towns. It has the train carts actually go into the trains at the station. I'm not actually sure if there are any warp signs on those trains, but I'm not sure.
There are.
As well.
Red Train has both and signs.
Yeah, it's
like there's one section that's only warp too.
Like I say, it's a little bit jarring. It's not the fantastic user experience that you'd hope, but it's because it's a bodge between both the warp and the train cart.
In these examples, where do they put the warp sign specifically? Because I've seen a lot of suggestions of where to put it, like somewhere in the middle of the platform, or.
Usually it's within the train that is there. If you TP a second.
Red Train is just existing trains with warp signs that have the ends drilled out and more rails put through. So the signs are still in the old spot.
Oh, so the train is here, but it's just there's space for the warp.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically it is technically within the rules as they're written right now, because there is a train, right? It's just. Yeah.
This one's on the platform.
Wait, actually, sorry, I'm not seeing. So I see the train. Where's the warp rail? Oh, sorry, not the warp rail. The train carts then.
They're within the train itself. It's usually about the middle of the platform.
If you press one of the buttons on the gold blocks, they spawn in.
The gold block? Sorry, I'm a little lost. Oh, what?
If you teleport to me here, I'm right by one.
Oh, they're in the train itself? Oh. That is weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
It's a bodge.
I didn't realize it was like this. Okay. Okay. Skelly needs to go, but I think okay, I'm going to read out some of these absentee ballots while you guys think about it. So 70 obviously isn't for because he wrote the damn proposal. Missa says maybe only require the vehicle for warp only routes and lift for hybrid? Question mark? I don't know. I don't know what that means exactly, but sure. And Skelly, well, I'm sorry, I just do not see the point of this outside of hybrids. If the existence of hybrids makes putting the vehicle at each stop a burden, I would be for relaxing the rule. If not, I am against undoing rule number 7. I think it is simply logical that if a bus is required for bus lines and a boat is required for ferries, then a train is required for warp rail. Really, this is only to make sure people aren't putting in some kind of effort on the construction side for warp transit. Just going to correct you a little bit there, Skelly. There is an exception for buses right now, though, or at least for local ones. So I think I did in the Discord discussion thread, I did sort of allude that, yeah, we already have some exceptions for these other things. Does this, do we want to increase? If we increase the number of exceptions, does it make sense to just think about the rule as a whole? But that's a whole other thing. So, yeah, what do you guys want to do? Because I don't know.
I think I'd mostly be in favour of repealing the rule. I think giving more freedom to the mayors of the towns to decide for themselves is fine with me.
I think for warp only transit, then I think we still should still require it. Should still require a vehicle at each stop, unless it's local. But for hybrid lines that do have the train carts, particularly with attachments, um, I don't think it should be as required.
Okay. I'm actually going to repeat an argument that Frozen made regarding this in the discussion thread. Let's say we do repeal this rule. That does, if we just repeal as it is, that means that technically a warp rail, if someone is just building a warp rail line only,
They wouldn't have to put in the
they
train.
don't have to put the train in. I think that was mainly Frozen's argument. So, do we need some sort of do we need to change the rule or add something here to prevent that from happening, or something?
We could say, oh, you only don't have to put the trains in if there's also a car-based mode of transportation on the same line.
Hmm.
But is that too specific?
Nate. Also, again, going back to my argument, it feels like we're making exceptions for very specific things. Like again,
Yeah.
so bus routes, you can there's one specific exception if it's a local bus line. You don't have to put buses on every bus stop. Here it's saying there's an exception for warp rails that are shared with train carts only. That's gonna be I guess my point is the rules are getting real complicated now. Is there a simpler way of expressing this, perhaps? Or I don't want to keep adding exceptions, is what I'm trying to say.
Could have it remove the exception, say warp requires a vehicle. If we really want to do it, we could warp with more than 400 blocks between stations requires a vehicle. Otherwise, it doesn't. Like, if we have it just the simple thing of we have this threshold.
So are you suggesting that there should be a distance added to the rule? Because that again, that adds complexity. Or how, I guess more like, how are we going to enforce that? Because I don't want staff would have to count and look at all the different places where the train stops, and it seems not very easily enforceable.
True.
Sorry, earlier, did you mention that people might be able to use the train carts attachments for things like buses and planes as well?
So what we're going to say is, for now, we're just going to label the editor. We're going to see how people use it, but we're not going to spend time making any sort of rules around attachments for buses and planes at this moment, because we don't know how people are going to use it. And
Okay.
yeah, I think at a future GSM, when you have a better idea of how these things could be used, then sure, we can do it then.
All right.
Okay, so we're just gonna wait a couple months and see how people actually use them.
Specifically with attachments. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's probably not a bad idea. And then if we see a lot of people doing combined systems, then we can maybe put in an exception or something.
Or if we need to, I'm not sure. Like again, there's also the whole learning curve element. I have a feeling that's going to stop a lot of that in its tracks a little bit. But I know some people are learning about it.
Tracks.
Yeah. Okay, MBF says, I think the simple option is to keep the rule, and hybrid lines of attachments and warp need separate platforms, but share tracks outside of stations. Yeah, this rule has nothing. Doesn't say anything about sharing tracks at all. The rule is just about when a warp train needs to stop somewhere. If you're going to put a warp sign in it, it has to be inside a train. One train per destination. I think this feels similar to the requirement that you need one train per destination. Okay. Okay. So how are people feeling about this? Are we in a case of like we don't know, or
I don't know.
Are we leaning in any direction here? I don't know.
I don't really see too many cons either way, so I'm not too fussed about what we do with this one.
I mean, I just don't care as long as we don't end up seeing a bunch of clear stupidity of the rules.
Okay. Barnacle says, I think we should do it with a case-by-case basis. I think that's actually the worst of both worlds, unfortunately, Barn. Because then...
I mean, then we have
to look at each case, and that's... Again, remember, staff aren't really that active now. They're going to have to, it would basically, I think that an option is people could, if they want to make a hybrid system, they have to make a proposal for it, and I don't know. Do people is the problem? Do you want 7D specifically, since he's the one who made this proposal? Do you want him to provide further arguments, maybe? And maybe also people who are against it as well, Frozen, maybe some others. I don't know. We could defer this proposal to next GSM and give them a chance. Basically, we'll tell them basically, we don't know. We need more arguments. We need more discussion about it.
Yeah,
I think so.
I just don't want to make a pattern of just deferring everything to the next GSM because we don't have enough people.
True.
We should try harder to just get more people.
But the thing is, we can't.
Even then,
We don't have a decision right now.
Yeah, we don't know. We literally don't know.
What are we doing?
Yeah, if we don't feel strongly either way. We don't feel strongly in favor or against it. We're just kind of like,
I don't know.
yeah.
because
Will
yes,
they
in
be
that
able
case,
to-
it found bad thing in a way. I just don't like setting the precedent that just everything gets deferred, even if like it's not bad to defer. It's just I just don't want to set a whole precedent of it.
I mean, we've deferred things before, and we have deferred things before when we feel like we don't have enough information.
Just two things at one meeting is just making me feel a bit off. But-
I think it's different. Like in this, so for Mountbatten, it's because we didn't have enough people. For this one, I think even if we had more people, I think we might still be in an I don't know state. Like it's very.
I don't
much-
mind.
Yeah,
We need more.
I don't-
We need more.
Generally, mind deferring it. It's just
we need specifically more.
I think I just don't remember any time where we deferred two separate things at once before. So it's just
I think
making
it's
me think. But
think
it shouldn't be that big a deal.
again. They're being deferred for different reasons, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, I know. That's what I just said.
So
Right. I think that's what I said.
yeah. So Sorry, Polo, you said the discussion around 5C has been pretty brief so far. Do you just want more people to discuss on the Discord thread, perhaps? I did actually say in that thread, like when 7D posted it, no one really said anything. So I was like, can people talk about it? I think Frozen piped up at that point, but there hasn't really been much else there. So do we just want more people to just join in that conversation and just figure it out, I guess? I don't know.
I mean, I do wonder, is this going to be something where we'll defer it, and then because it's maybe such an undecisive topic for us, it will be the same for everyone else as well. Does anyone really feel very strongly about it in the community?
So, well, obviously 7D feels strongly in favor of it. Frozen and I just read, so Skelly's opinion I just read out. He's firmly against it. So there is definitely some extremes, and the rest seem to be just kind of, I don't know, shrug. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy to defer it then just for a month and see what gets discussed. We can always decide next time, I suppose.
Yeah. We could say that maybe if we still can't make a decision by next month, maybe we just say no, since we can't do anything, like decide anything. But I would strongly encourage people to put their opinion in that thread before the meeting happens. So at least we have some idea which direction to go with it, like, or at least some substance to discuss. Yeah, we need. Yeah, would like to, like, definitely it would affect both warp rail and train carts people, like, and some people are on both sides of that too. So actually, I wonder if I should. There is that the RCA, the association, at least on the train cart side. I could poke Frozen to maybe initiate a discussion there about it. Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't harm anything.
Yeah. Is there an equivalent on the warp rail side? I don't know. Is that the
Nope.
transit server? No, there is not.
The transit server,
why
and
is
that's
there
not
not
it.
one? That seems weird.
I think it's
I'll get
partly
on it.
The same reason that Colpito City has 5 different warp tracks adjacent to each other.
I think we all just kind of collectively agreed we'll do this standard, and then nothing else happened.
Sounds like an oligarchy. Anyway, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, bottom line, needs more discussion. Please discuss it in Discord. Yeah, let's defer it. But again, I'll go talk to 7D to provide more arguments in favor of it. Maybe I could talk to Skelly, provide more arguments against it. I don't know, like, just to try to flesh it out a bit. So okay. Let's move on from 5C onto 5D, which I'm sorry to say might be also controversial too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so this is one that Tom brought up while I was working with him on the flag park. Baseline standard, just like the old flag park, is that there's only one flag per town. And that's how we've been operating so far with the new flag park too. But Tom brought up some questions about, like, okay, there's all these people have their states, people have their MPOs, some states have multiple cities, all that sort of stuff. Like, his question is, what do we want to allow? Sorry, there's several questions here. One question is, do we want to allow people to place their flags of their state in the flag park? And two, the second question is, can they place that along with their town flag, or perhaps in a separate section in the flag park? There's some other questions here, but those are the two main. That's the gist of it, basically.
I mean, I'd definitely be in favour of restricting the placement of MPO flags and state flags. So,
Restricting as in just not allowing them in the flag park, or Like
Either or. I just think that if we allow people to place them everywhere, it sort of sets the precedent there, an officially recognized thing, like towns are on the town list and MPOs aren't. So
sure, okay, yeah. MF says states get dissolved, cities don't, unless Appleton or Dead Bush situations occur. Sure, okay. That is kind of, and the flag park, new flag park, we do have a section for merged or deleted towns, so we already have that, like Appleton and a lot of Dead
I'm just
Bush.
thinking of of all the mulching towns where 90% of them have the same flag.
Yeah, so those are already in their own section. That's already been established.
Yeah, because really the only place I can think of are the mulching towns and the cactus towns. Whatever that's all called now, I forgot.
Okay.
Obahia, yeah.
Paul says,
Those are the only two I can think of.
Paul says, I understand the concerns, but I think we should allow states and MPOs in the park. The flag park is a representation of the server and our identity, and MPOs are also part of this identity. We could put flags in states and MPOs in their own section, though. With cities, there's specific builds and locations tied to it, less so of MPOs. Okay. Let me read some absentee ballots here. So, 7D doesn't have an opinion about it. He voted neutral on it. Mrs. says, towns feel a lot more permanent than MPOs and such, and so I would be most in favor of only allowing town flags. And Skelly says, I don't think there should be flags for MPOs since they can easily come and go. We've seen that argument before. I think the point of the flag park is for players to show off their individual creations. For states, I think it can be a bit of a compromise like this. If a player has brought all of their towns together under one supra-municipal entity, example, City-State of Catania or Mojang Community, then that state can have a flag as long as none of the other towns within it have flags at the town park. Oh, I don't know if I like this. Okay, so for example, Mojanger Republic can have a flag as long as Dead Bush, Mountbatten, and Chanbei don't have flags on their own. A supra-municipal entity that consists of towns owned by different players, Republic of Miwan, cannot have a flag just as an MPO cannot. I'm going to say right out now, I'm not in favor of what Skelly is suggesting here because I guess this is the problem. I guess this is why we suggested a separate area, is because if you try to make rules about what people can allow, like should they choose their town flag or should they choose their state flag, that's going to get confusing real fast, because then we have to keep looking, like whoever's managing the flag park right now, it's like me and Tom right now. It's just I don't that sounds like that's a big headache waiting to happen. Like I don't think we can do that.
Realistically, how many MPO flags are there going to be? I doubt it's going to be enough to be a significant problem.
Let's also be clear here. There's MPO flags, there are also state flags. The question is, are we lumping them together? Because MPOs usually are many towns, and state flags tend to be can be also many towns, but just owned by one player. There aren't many of them for sure, but I think the question was brought up because Tom, I think, was probably asked. Like I think someone asked him about it, and then this whole discussion spawned out of it. So yeah, I mean, if the difference, that's a thing. It's kind of a gray area, but the main difference I've seen is states tend to be made by a single player. Sometimes I've seen multiple players, like they'll make a state too, and you could argue that's an MPO at that point, but so the examples like that Skelly mentioned, the City-State of Catania or the Mojanger Community, those would be states, and those are mainly, for example, Catania is mainly run by Kyle. Whereas an MPO tends to be more of a collection of people coming together and forming a organization, or I guess an alliance, or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, I think at first I was probably more leaning to not having MPO flags in the park at all, but I think what Empolo is saying about them being, significant to the community, I think that's maybe swayed me a bit more in the other direction, and I do think actually that having a delegated area just for MPO flags and whatnot seems like a decent compromise to me.
Yeah, there is space to create a separate area.
Well, yeah, we made sure to, with the new flag, right, we made sure that there's a lot of space to the east that we could expand possibly indefinitely. So yeah, there is space. It's just more like okay, so let's say we do allow it, and then let's be very clear here, is it that area is for MPOs and states, and anything in between, if that makes sense, because again, some things are, again, it's a gray area. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we
go ahead.
can sort of regulate it less officially, I suppose. We could say, you can. This area isn't officially endorsed, I suppose, by the server. You're just sort of less official because obviously towns are written in a spreadsheet, so we can verify whether a flag still exists or not. But
Yeah.
for the MPOs and states, we could just say it's a less maintained area, I suppose, needs less attention.
Maybe again, right now it's like the flag perk's mainly me and Tom. Tom's not even a staff member, so, or at least right now, but he's offered to manage it for us for the time being. So yeah, I don't know. I will have to talk to Tom, and I think he's fairly open to whatever option. It's just that we need to decide here. Um, but yeah, to be clear, so if we're going to make this separate area, the one flag per town rule still applies to everywhere else, correct? Like there's no options for people to add their state flags to their town flag post, for example, which I think we've seen on some. I think some of the old flags in the old park were kind of like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So are we leaning toward that, I guess? Are we go I'm gonna have to ask Tom, he's probably gonna have to make up maybe he might have to propose it too, like show where he's gonna put this new area and where it's gonna be. Does this here's a question. Does this apply to dead MPOs or dead states? Or do they go to should they go into the graveyard too? Like, I don't know. Like Republic of Epsilon flag or a UC flag or even more really real recent example like a Soteria flag. Like though what do we do with those sort of things?
Uh,
Hello?
um,
Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh,
think
did I
maybe we
did I
just-
cut out for people?
I think maybe
No,
we
I
just
was
like
away
not
for
allow
a
it.
short moment.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, for this separate section for MPOs and states, do we allow, I don't know, dead or inactive states or MPOs? Or should they go
No,
in the,
because then
No, I don't
then we'd
think
have-
so.
Then we'd have 70% of it just being dead MPOs. It's
True.
all just a controversy that no one wants to talk about again.
pull
I
pull,
think
pull as someone who has, been involved in MPOs, what do you think about that? Because I guess technically, I don't know. For example, FS is technically not dead. Well, I guess it depends on your definition of dead. It hasn't officially
Well,
dissolved.
It's officially
Wait.
not dead, but it's dead in principle. Well, not like in practical, it's dead. But I think we should not restrict just for the sake of clarity and less rules. Because if
I-
we like to be as to be the more simple that we can.
I
I don't
I
know if I
think
make sense here. Or...
I think we should limit it to like alive MPOs. Well, not like not MPOs that are like officially
Of course, the one
dissolved.
concern is when an MPO does die, who has to tear the flag down?
Yeah, well,
True.
or more specifically, what's the definition of an alive MPO or state? Like, again, as MP Polo said, FS is technically not dissolved, but but in practice it is, because no one's actually, it's not active, right?
I was gonna say like just officially dissolved ones.
Officially
We
dissolved.
we can't have in the flag park.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
Anything else is okay.
Does that sound okay? And Polo or others?
Yeah, it sounds fine.
Okay, I will tell this to Thomas explicitly. Like, make a separate section for states and MPOs that are officially alive.
Not
Yeah.
not dissolved.
Not dissolved. Yeah. Not. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Let's do that. That sounds good.
Hold on, so to clarify for a minute, so we're doing the central area, the different area, sorry. Yeah.
Yep. I will. Yeah. Again, I'll ask Tom to design that area, and he might actually propose that to staff, I guess, for approval. Yeah.
So has this been? It hasn't been approved. I don't know what to put on the minutes now. Has it been approved or handled?
For this, we haven't really. It's not a question of what to approve. It's more like which direction we're gonna go, is the thing. So we've decided that yes, we're going to allow state and MPO flags, but they'll be in their separate area. That's the conclusion of this topic. Because honestly, when we came into this, we didn't know. Like, that's why there's a lot of different directions we could have gone with this one. Is that good, Dana?
Yeah, I got that down.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Any other further questions about this before we can move on from this? Okay, I'm seeing nothing. Let's move on to the last topic. This is not a community issue. It's more of a thing from request to staff that we weren't really sure what to do with. DNA found... Was it you, DNA, you found this, I think? Yeah.
No, I didn't find it. I just investigated some of it. So.
Oh, okay.
It's Bobby, I think, who found it.
Okay. So, yeah, WN32. We're not entirely sure what happened to it exactly. It looked like some bad...
Very weird.
Core Protect rollback or some bad world edit. I'm not sure. The question I'd like to ask the staff is, what do you want to do with it?
So I think I mentioned somewhere, but I would be willing to go through and completely re-terraform the area, just fix all the trees and the weird terrain spots if that's needed.
Okay. Looking at the absentee ballot, Miss is suggesting it could be a rollback. Probably best to repaste the station. Is that something that DNA or anyone else wants to try to do, or?
I did have a look at the damage to the station, and there actually isn't too much, so we could probably rebuild it. Just fill in the missing repeaters and redstone there. So it's up to you, really.
Yeah, it's not that significant damage.
Okay. DNA, do you want to do it, or do you want someone else to look at it?
Yeah, I can do it. It should only be replanting a couple trees here and there and just fixing some of the weird landscape, so it shouldn't take too long.
Okay. Look, oh, Bobby's actually offering to help too. So, okay.
Oh, thank you, Bobby.
Okay, cool. Okay, so DNA, yeah, good luck with that. And
Thanks.
that's that. All right, we're at the end of the meeting. We Yeah, we only have 6 here, so we can't go back to Mountbatten, unfortunately, because we still don't have enough people. So that'll still be deferred.
So sad.
We don't have quorum, but we have a different not having a quorum.
Yeah, again, we need more mods. We need more active mods so that we don't run into this problem again. I know this is like the least busy part of this time of the server, but to at least be able to do these sort of things, I think it'd be good. Okay. All right, so let's move on.
Just make sure to effectively yell at staff that if they're not busy with something unavoidable, to try and at least come for 5 minutes next month.
Or at least maybe try to vote on Mountbatten, like before the meeting. Yeah.
That too.
Okay, so I know we're gonna do a Q&A, but I heard that there was a trustee meeting, and unfortunately, I think Elite wants to share that with everyone here, right?
Yay.
Oh, great.
This is getting derailed.
Well, the thing is, Elite. Oh, yeah. Okay, Elite, do you want to come up on stage here? Push the request to speak button or something. Whatever. There it is.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, now, here we go. The Trustee Association meeting for March 2024 at the Big Board. Nominations. Number 1, Galactic Cosmos for Trustee carries 5-0. Number 2, the Right Honorable Rishi Sunak MP for Trustee fails 1-3. The Alexander Dennis Volvo Enviro 200 double-decker bus for Trustee fails 1-2.
What a good boss.
4, a canister of iron filings for Trustee carries 2-0. Number 5, the general business category of the meeting for Trustee carries 2-0. General business. Number 6, Trentonocracy for band carries 3-0. Number 7, replace all water in the MRT with lava carries 3-0. Number 8, legalizing trolleybus rapid transit lines with a minimum of 10,000 blocks between stops carries 3-2. Number 9, legalizing exploding phones carries 2-1. 10, motion to adjourn. Certification. I, His Excellency the Right Honorable the Lord Neon, PC, KCMG, OBE, Baron Shadowpoint, Duke of New Mackinac, Speaker of the Trustees, do hereby declare this document to be the rightful and undemocratic will of the trustees of the MRT server, as certified by its Speaker. God save the Frumple.
I'll get right on beta to change all the water over. Also, section 4, Article 20 states
Nice.
Detroit sucks.
To be fair, at least the trustee meeting gets stuff done. The problem is what they get done is a whole lot. I don't know. Okay. Oh. Is my mic stuck? Oh dear. Hello?
Third base.
Oh.
Get them off stage.
I'll hide in the bankruptcy court.
Yeah, someone get the cane and hook Elite on
Yeet.
stage. There you go. Thank you. All right. Now for the Q&A section of this meeting. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything else, or any of the topics we've discussed so far in this meeting, please message us.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, there you are, DNA. The Discord's being wonky again. Just
I accidentally kicked DNA because they were in the same place as Elite was a second earlier.
Oh well.
Okay. Agildus has a question. Go ahead and ask your question while I look at Pro's question here. When will TC attachments be installed on the main? Probably later today. It's not. All I actually need to do is add a permission, just to enable the editor. There's a whole bunch of other stuff too, but that's literally it. So.
Could I make a mini request, please, to the community?
What's the request?
Well, if anyone would like to come onto the Train Carts Ticket Shop test server after the GSM, there's been some changes which need some testing, so it'd be great if some people could come along.
Yeah. Yeah. If you need information how to get to that server, I think it's in auxiliary Discords too, and I think there's information in beta server as well. So, yeah. Agildus, if you need to, are you on the Discord? You could just DM me the message if that's better for you. MBF asks, if are we talking hours or minutes? I'll try to get to it in the next hour or so after this GSM. It's like I just have a list of permissions to go through, and that's about it. We have to change the max. Yeah, there's some other stuff too, config stuff as well. I'm gonna wait for Agildus's question. Any other questions, comments?
MRT trains.
And yeah, just to reiterate, yeah, Mount Ben has been deferred to next GSM. Apologies to Moj for that. And we are also deferring 5C. I'm going to ask 7D and others to, and we're just, again, in general, if you have opinions about that, please discuss it in the Discord thread. It's still open, I think. So feel free to just discuss in there. Okay, Agildus has a pretty long question here. Would you be open to the idea of possibly implementing a size limit for cities? I know it sounds strange, but without naming any city in particular, I've stumbled across a city that is about 2K blocks wide, has very large roads, and has multiple huge unfinished floating buildings, while at the same time only being ranked mayor. Also, in my opinion, the owner is clearly building massive roads and clearing flattening land toward other surrounding towns of actually finishing almost all of their buildings they started building. Basically, the city is composed of floating building facades, oversized roads, and empty flat chunks of land.
That's a problem with the city itself.
Yeah. Generally, you don't... Oh, go ahead, AP. Sorry.
I think they're probably referring to, I can't even remember the name of it now. I-10, I-9, I-8?
Agildus, if you want, I mean, it's up to you. Do you want to reveal which specific city you're referring to? It would, if you don't, you could just email staff privately if you don't feel comfortable doing that. But it would help if we knew which city you're talking about.
Right on.
Oh, okay. He's referring to Tokyo by Megafro.
Oh,
Where is Tokyo?
is it like right by where Agildus is on Dynmap right now? Yeah, it is. I think it's right over there.
Agildus, a question. Have you talked to Megafro about your concerns? Maybe. You know, just ask them, like, tell them that your city's too big, or if you, that sort of thing.
I can see the concern there. We don't tend to put much on actually finishing, well, unless the town comes up for ranks. We don't tend to monitor under construction cities, under construction towns as much.
Yeah. We also don't. Oh, go ahead, AP.
No, you go.
We don't put a size, just in general. We don't put a size limit on cities per se, because again, every city and every person's building style can be quite different. So some people might want a very wide road or very large buildings, or maybe lots of flat land or soccer fields or whatever. Like, I don't want to restrict that aspect of creativity there. I guess here's a better question, Agildus. Is this causing a problem for you or any other town owners, possibly? Like, if it's a large town that's maybe encroaching on other towns, that would make more sense. But if it's just big, I'm not really sure if I see the issue here. Agildus says, yeah, 1 sec. Okay. Because usually even regardless of size, usually when there are cases of like cities or towns getting close to each other, there's usually the usual thing that happens is both those mayors meet and discuss like they establish some sort of border, so they know that this is your side, that's my side. It's basically like putting up a neighbor to your a fence to your neighbor basically. So if that is needed here, if you have your town's in the area and you need to do that, you may want to talk to Megafro about that. But in general, yeah, we don't put a size limit because that's hard to enforce.
Cough, cough, ATC, cough, cough.
Oh, sorry, what? Oh,
Oh,
or airports, you mean?
Cough, cough, I'm slow whack and tack that
Put a
thing.
size limit on Devil should be banned immediately.
AT.
Well, yeah, AT, but I mean, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, we've not
we
not tended to put size limits except on very, very specific cases. Lithium Town comes to mind.
yeah, but those circumstances were because of other things, like how they were interacting with other players. For Tom's case with AT, like we never really stopped
It's already
him.
there.
Yeah, he just and same with Moj. Like they just
It's like, I want this town.
they ate town.
Mine.
Yeah, yeah. So in this case, I'm just not sure what I'm basically, Eglis, we're just trying to figure out what's the issue here, and maybe we're wondering if it could be something that could be resolved again between you and Mega or something else. I don't know. He is typing right now, so I'm just gonna wait.
It's too early in the morning.
Agreed.
We're
No,
almost
not agreed.
done. We're almost done. I'll just hold on. At least the Q&A portion is being used for actual Q&A. Like I kind of feel weird when there's like I'd say, is there any Q&A questions and no one says anything? I'm like, okay, like.
And then it's like, you like tacos.
No,
Yeah,
it just
it's
gets awkward.
8:30.
It just
It's
gets
8.
awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 8:30 p.m. It's not early in the morning for me.
He's still typing. I don't know. Any other questions?
This does seem like the sort of thing to kind of sort out after GSM.
Yeah. Possibly. I'll just give him a chance to answer though, just so we know if we can answer it at the GSM. I don't want. I really
Since
hate.
we're here, you know.
Yeah. I hate the phrase "we'll take it offline." It's kind of. But I guess we might have to do that here. Eglis, if you could try to make your answer briefer so we can wrap up the GSM, because you are holding it up a little bit. If we need to talk to you after the GSM, we can. I won't bother you guys for any longer. I'll take the time to collect my thoughts and I'll email staff about it later. Okay. That sounds good.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, that is the end of today's GSM. The next one will be in April. Also, keep in mind that daylight savings time in US, and I think UK is starting
Tomorrow.
later this
Fun.
month. So the next GSM, the timing will be a little different. So be sure to check that before then. Okay.
Yeah, to clarify, summertime starts tomorrow in the States, and it's the
still
28th of March
winter.
in most of Europe. Rest of the world, please check your own calendars.
Funny how summertime starts, even though it's officially still in the winter season.
Yep.
Pain.
Okay. All right. End of GSM. Goodbye. Thanks for
I'll see you next
Bye.
one.
Hee hee hee.
Not so.
Oh,